Hi, my name's Robert. I write a blog called Robert's Vegas Adventure Blog, if you'd like to look it up. I recently did an interview with a friend who works surveillance in a casino on the Strip, and I kind of censored his answers, and I thought I'd make a video and give his full answers uncensored. So, as you might know or might not know, surveillance is pretty much like Fight Club. First rule of surveillance is you don't talk about surveillance. Second rule, you don't talk about surveillance. So obviously I can't give you his real name. We'll just call him Merlin. And let's get right started with the uncensored stuff. I know surveillance watches the casino's table games and the money. So what's the most cash you've ever seen a player lose at one time?
Well, for a single wager, it would be $25,000. Of course, this pertains only to a table game. On a single hand wager, some players have lost in excess of $1 million on a single trip of 3 to 4 days, for example, and I think the largest single sports wager was over $100,000, which lost. It is funny though when some players show up with a bag or suitcase full of cash, and they have to pull 3 or 4 dealers out of the pits to count the money per procedure just to keep up with his wagers. Very funny to watch.
I guess I can understand that. A lot of cash flows through Las Vegas. A lot of cameras and surveillance. You guys watch pretty much everything. You ever seen anyone having sex in a public area? I know that's a dirty question. Any stories you'd like to share with us about that?
I have seen women so upset about their losses, that after being approached by a male, she gave him oral sex for a price to recuperate losses before going back to her room with her husband. Other employees have been drinking after work, and take hookers to back of the house areas for whatever.
Have you ever caught anybody cheating on a table game? I know it's not very common anymore, but it probably still does happen, right?
Not really common, but it does happen. You get the occasional card counter or hole carder. I have caught my share of both. The rules have been changed so much that it makes it very difficult. Discard racks are red for a reason. Deck cut penetration is much deeper, which makes getting an accurate count more difficult. Auto shufflers or continuous shufflers get rid on any chance of collusion with a dealer. They would have to signal their bottom card, which would be easy to see if it happened consistently. It is more about Tito theft and employee theft these days. Then again, there is always the occasional snatch and grab type theft. Think motorcycle helmet.
Probably need to explain a few of those terms. Tito, none of the slot machines in Las Vegas really work on coins anymore. They're all paperless. They're all coinless. They work with a little slip. You slide your bill money in and then play, and then when you cash out, it gives you a slip of paper that's called a Tito ticket, and then you cash that in. As for the motorcycle helmet, that turned out to be a judge's son here who ran in with a gun and stole a whole bunch of high-value chips off a casino table in Bellagio. He was eventually caught because he wasn't very bright and decided he could sell them all. Let's move on. Since you're the eye in the sky, I'm sure you've got some really great stories. You want to maybe tell us some of the more funny ones?
Well, this is a one-line answer. The employees. Yeah, I mean, you see plenty of funny shit with the patrons, but watching the employees screw up day after day after day, who get paid for their idiocy, and then are employees of the month, well, that is the funniest thing ever. Cost the company money and get rewarded. There are a lot of Americans out of work who can count, deal, submit, pour, serve, and secure without being repeatedly counseled and written up. It seems as though you need an act of Congress to terminate a bad employee under the corporate system. Let the mafia take back over.
Prostitution is still a big problem in Las Vegas. Well, mostly it's not really prostitution because these girls get the guys drunk and take them out in the room and rob them instead of actually doing an honest trade. But do you ever recognize any of the working girls that come in, see them on camera, you know who they are, you know what names they are? Because I know a few of the guys I work with recognize them, know them right by name, and tell them, okay, Jenny or whoever, you need to get out of here.
My place is not hooker-ridden like yours. In fact, we get our share, but they just get walked out. They only end up in the CSO for a trick roll or something else Metro will respond for, but surprisingly I don't recognize any of them as the ones I dealt with so much in the past. It is really a low-key kind of place.
Okay, since you work surveillance and you see everything, you pretty much know everything that goes on in the casino you work at. Go ahead and ran away, man. What do you think the biggest problems are in the casinos, the modern casinos today?
That would most definitely be the upper management. They make decisions based on lack of revenue that make no sense at all. We are in the middle of a recession, so why not drop table game minimums? I mean, after all, it was grind action that pulled this down, and could bring it back. Also, this whole new security hands-off policy is a failure. It ran much better when the Mafia ran it. Even though they were skimming off the top, nobody would dare fuck with them for fear of what might happen. Now we have $30 rooms and expect people to play $20 blackjack? They use our rooms and then go to Hooters or downtown and play $3 blackjack. Why not keep them in-house and take all their money? $100 shows, $50 stakes, and $30 rooms? It simply does not compute. Nobody is spending money, so why have a jewelry store or a retail outlet that sells a t-shirt for $30? Drop everything down and the people will come, and of course with low-dollar people comes bad behavior. So let your security department act like they should. Hire the right people and they will spread the word. Do not go there, the security guys are assholes. It will keep the riffraff away, and at the same time make the real guests feel safer and better. They might even want to come back. Oh, and another thing, why the hell would you open a party pit with dancing girls on 6-5 blackjack, which attracts a younger crowd, and then put old and non-attractive dealers in that pit? Sheldon, how'd you put young and attractive dealers there with the younger crowd? I mean, having a visually stimulating bunch of dancers surrounded by gray-haired dealers. It's like putting a Lamborghini on a carousel at an auction surrounded by Ford Pintos.
I wrote a book called Terminating Vegas, and in it there are a couple of security officers who sleep on duty, who are screwing around, don't do their job. You ever see this? You ever have a lot of problems with security, them not doing their job? You know what happens around my place sometimes.
No, not really. Security is actually well behaved. I don't think they have time to sleep because there's so few of them that they stay pretty busy on routine security work. No real problems, or at least not very often. I am shocked, however, on how people we know were terminated from one place end up working at another. You would think there would be some kind of communication between the places.
I know we see surveillance on TV, CSI, and in the movies and stuff like that, show Las Vegas, which I don't really care for. But it's not really like that, is it? It's not really like any of these places and how they portray it. Uh, what is surveillance really like?
Not at all. I mean, of course we are not walking on catwalks with binoculars anymore, mostly digital, and we can go back in time and see anything without leaving our chair. But current surveillance is pretty much reactive rather than proactive. We should be looking for employees stealing, card counters, cheaters and the like, but no, we are always looking back at what happened yesterday or last week. Did my employee clock in last Tuesday? This guy claimed he bet $5 on black, not on red. This guy slipped and fell outside because he was intoxicated. Can you see how many drinks he had on blackjack? I mean, whatever happened to actually protecting the assets? Now it is like figuring out where the assets went after they are already gone. That being said, I remember my dear departed grandpa telling me when I was 5 or 6 that the more time you spend thinking about what has been taken from you, the more is going out the door. Maybe the powers that be should remember that.
Uh, I guess one more question for you. We'll let you go. Chase balls or whatever you do. um, over the years in Las Vegas, I've collected quite a few trophies myself, name tags, chips, things like that, from places. Can you tell us any of the things you've collected? Not really getting in trouble. I mean, some of the things you've just picked up.
I have collected a lot of uniforms and, as you know, name tags. I also have some table layouts which are really cool. The most interesting things are kept in my head as memories.
Okay, was actually the complete interview with everything you sent me back. I really wish I could bring him on here and we could have a live chat, maybe a little conversation here, but that's just not possible because first rule of surveillance is you don't talk about surveillance. Then we're going to talk about it anyway. Hope you enjoyed this little interview. Thanks for watching.